Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of LANGERR at the Mic Live. And, I decided to make a Cowboys versus Rams preview video because I was looking all good in this suit after television class today. And I also got my Cowboys tie right here, as you can see. I'm looking forward to making this video about Cowboys versus Rams. And obviously, if you enjoy my content, then be sure to subscribe to my channel and like my videos, of course. And we just had a special guest, Paul Romanuk, on the show earlier this week. So I'm hoping to bring some other special guests to the show as well in the near future. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited that football is finally back. Got the awesome pleasure of watching Chiefs versus Texans yesterday. And a lot of stories from that game. Obviously, there was the actual football game itself, but you had the social injustice protests at the beginning, and the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the few teams in the NFL allowing fans into their stadium. So just look, if you're put it this way, if you're one of the four other teams, I think the Cowboys are one of the other four teams, but anyway, I think it's the Dolphins, Cowboys, Chiefs. Let me look that up for you. Give me 1 second. Four teams allowed for NFL. I'll go and get my facts straight here. Give me a second. So we got the Cowboys. We got the Vikings. No fans. So yes, Dolphins, Cowboys, Chiefs, and the Houston Texans, I believe. So if you're a fan of any of those teams and you're going to have the awesome pleasure of going to an NFL game, obviously mask and social distancing and COVID friendly, of course. But if you have the awesome joy of watching an NFL game live this season, please don't boo the protesting. Please don't boo the protesting. Understand what it's all about. And just go and just be a fan. Cheer the game, boo the game, sure, but not the protesting. So that's my message on that. Let's carry on. So let's get right into the Cowboys versus Rams preview here. And actually, before I get into that, Dak Prescott, we're with you. We're with you, Dak. We understand what you're feeling with, the depression or the difficult emotions that you're feeling. You lost your brother Jace to, over this past summer. So Cowboys Nation's with you. Skip Bayless, grow the heck up. Grow up, Skip Bayless. And that's my message for that. So let's get now into the actual preview. So injury report. Let's start with that. Jordan Lewis announced out for the Dallas Cowboys. That's I'd say Jordan Lewis is the most talented defensive back on the Cowboys roster right now. So that will be a big loss to the Cowboys. But luckily they have, middle of the road depth behind Jordan Lewis to back him up. So we'll see how that affects the Cowboys. Luke Gifford, Cheeto Wuzier, and Amari Cooper are on the injury report, but I believe they will all be good to go. Rams don't have too many injuries. It's just Andrew Whitworth took a rest day, but he should be good to go. And Darrell Henderson, they're one of their backup running backs, should be good to go as well. Or backup. I mean, they're probably going to have a rotation of running backs between Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers, and Darrell Henderson. So that's the injury report. Week one, not much to really talk about. Let's get into now the matchups. I broke things down. So I just look at one more thing here. Yeah, all right. Just wanted to make sure I didn't butcher any names. So let's get into the matchups now. Overall, on paper, if you look at the Cowboys and Rams position by position, the Cowboys are pretty much better overall on paper. I think we know that with the way that they built their roster. They're clearly better at running back, wide receiver, offensive line. At the moment, are fully healthy. They're better offensive line, arguably better at quarterback since Dak had a much better year than Jared Goff last year. But then again, Jared Goff was running for his life most of last year. And the Cowboys are better on defensive line overall outside of Aaron Donald. But the Rams are more better. I'd say the Rams are slightly better at cornerback, with Jalen Ramsey, or they're more top heavy than the Cowboys are at cornerback. That's for sure. But their depth is to be proven. The Rams' depth at corner is. Now let's look at head-to-head because, Jared Goff doesn't directly play against Dak Prescott, and the Cowboys' offensive line doesn't directly play against the Rams' offensive line. So let's get into head-to-head matchups here. So starting with the Cowboys' offensive line and the Rams' defensive line and edge rushers. I give the Rams the advantage here. Why? Because the Cowboys will be out Travis Frederick, and I know Joe Looney will do a fine job stepping in for Travis Frederick. He won't be at that level of Travis Frederick, but Joe Looney proved that he wasn't too much of an issue in 2018 stepping in for Travis Frederick. So I believe that the Cowboys will be okay with Joe Looney. But the big concern is the fact that Lyle Collins is out, right? And the fact that the Rams have a guy named Aaron Donald on their defensive line. So I believe that the Rams overall have the advantage in terms of the battle of the trenches. But the Cowboys will adjust this time. And the Cowboys also still have Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. So, that I'm not too concerned about. Only issue is obviously if Tyron Smith goes down with an injury halfway through the game, look out. But I give the Rams the edge in the trenches so far. Cowboys wide receiver versus Rams defensive back. Look, pretty clearly the Cowboys invested heavily in their wide receivers this offseason, extending Amari Cooper, right? Drafting CeeDee Lamb, who fell to him at 17 overall, right? Honestly, like for the Cowboys, it's just going to come down to the Cowboys just have to throw the ball to whoever Jalen Ramsey isn't covering. And if, let's say, Jalen Ramsey's covering Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup is double teamed, well, CeeDee Lamb wide open the slot and let him do his thing. Friggin' CeeDee Lamb is your number 3 receiver. Or if CeeDee Lamb is being doubled and Jalen Ramsey is covering Amari Cooper, then throw it to Michael Gallup, right? Just wherever Jalen Ramsey isn't, right? And if there's not a double team, just throw to whoever Jalen Ramsey isn't. It's that simple on offense, right? So just pick your poison. That's what it's going to be. Let's see it happen. Let's make it happen. Cowboys, tight ends and running backs versus Rams, middle linebacker and safety group. Both in the passing game and the running game, I would say advantage Cowboys. I'd say Jarwin, Zeke, and Pollard will be good enough to get open in the passing game against whoever, against the linebacker group, the Cowboys, the Rams are going to send out. I believe it's going to be Micah Heiser and Troy Reeder. They're a 3-4 defense, so I believe I believe Zeke, Jarwin, and Pollard, I'm confident that they'll be good enough to get open in the passing game. In terms of the running game, then it all comes down to, again, the matchup of the Cowboys' offensive line, the defensive line. And like I said, the Rams' defensive line can pose problems to the weak links of the Cowboys' offensive line, which is number 1, Cam Irving, and Connor Williams and Joe Looney, and maybe Joe Looney, but I don't want to say too much of Joe Looney. It's going to be more, it's going to be more about Cam Irving and Connor Williams. We're going to see how they hold up against Aaron Donald and Malcolm Floyd and the Rams pass rush and run stopping. So that's on offense. Let's look at defense now. So Rams offensive line against the Cowboys defensive line. Huge advantage to the Dallas Cowboys here. Cowboys did well by investing in their defensive line this offseason as well. Dontari Poe, right? Tyron Crawford back, assuming healthy, right? Tank Lawrence is still there. Everson Griffin, a last-minute signing. Bradley Anae to back up off the edges. And, of course, Aldon Smith to come in either on the edge or at defensive tackle just to get after Jared Goff. I'm fully confident that the Dallas Cowboys defensive line will cook against the LA Rams offensive line. So yeah, huge advantage to the Cowboys in the trenches on the defensive side of the ball. Rams wide receivers versus Cowboys defensive backs. I would say this is even. If anything, I would give this to the Rams, right? The Cowboys are unproven at cornerback, with Trevon Diggs, right? Who might play over Cheeto. Right now, I think he's listed in that as a starter over Cheeto. But like I said in my previous video, I don't think it's really going to matter because the Cowboys are pretty much going to rotate at defensive back, both at corner and safety anyway. But the fact that the Cowboys are unproven, I could even maybe give this slight advantage to the Rams because I believe there will be opportunities for Cooper Kupp and Josh Reynolds and Robert Woods to get open against the Cowboys secondary. But that being said, the Cowboys secondary still believe will flash a few big plays to make a difference in this game. And now Rams running backs, tight ends over linebackers and safeties. I forgot to mention tight ends before when I was thinking about that. But I would say slight advantage to the Cowboys. Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett they'll get open in the passing game, but in terms of the running game, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, maybe even Luke Gifford to some extent, maybe even Joe Thomas in coverage, right? I believe when it comes to their ability in stopping the run, heavily favors the Cowboys because, again, they play with that strong defensive line in front of them. The Cowboys linebackers do, right? But when it comes in the passing game, I would say that's where it's a little bit more even because I believe in Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee's ability to get open in the passing game against Jalen Smith and Joe Thomas and Luke Gifford, if Luke Gifford even plays in passing downs. But Leighton Vander Esch will be the challenge for the Rams in terms of finding opportunities in the passing game. But again, I still believe in Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett to get open. So in terms of linebacker and in terms of Rams tight ends and running backs versus Cowboys linebacker safety, run defense, advantage Cowboys all the way. Pass defense, slight advantage Rams. So could go either way. Special teams, big unknown. Rams special teams versus Cowboys special teams, no idea. I'd like to think the Cowboys because of Bones, John Fossil now taking over the coordinating duties for the special teams, right? But look, but we don't know yet. We still don't know. And with the shortened off season, there could be a lot of, miscommunications and all that. So big question mark. Greg Zuerlein over Brett Maher for sure. Kai Forbath didn't miss a kick late in the season last year. So I'm still confident that Greg Zuerlein, if he's healthy, kicking in a dome against his former team, Greg Zuerlein will be fine. But again, we don't know for sure in terms of special teams overall. And then lastly, coaching. I believe coaching is, I'd say, even because Mike McCarthy has the more proven success than Sean McVay has, but Sean McVay has the mind for the modern NFL, and Sean McVay, of course, is still one of the best coaches in the NFL right now. But Mike McCarthy, maybe his year in 2018, his year off in 2019, right, will lead to him adjusting to the modern NFL. Right. But definitely look, if this was Jason Garrett, no doubt Sean McVay would have an advantage over Jason Garrett. But I think now that the Cowboys have Mike McCarthy, now that they have Mike Nolan, and now that Kellen Moore, I was blanking there for a sec, Kellen Moore will be under the influence of Mike McCarthy instead of Jason Garrett. I think that will be tremendous for him as well. So I'd say coaching overall maybe could favor the Cowboys, but because of Sean McVay alone, I say even. Bottom line. So the Cowboys, right? Plain and simple, Cowboys win if they meet expectations. If their team, if the strength of their roster on paper is proves to get the job done over the Rams on paper, then and again the Cowboys offense, the big three of CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, right, in whatever order you want, proves to be better than what the Rams have at corner. Right, Jalen Ramsey. If Jalen Ramsey can't cover all three of them, and yeah, just if it's a pick your poison situation for the Rams trying to cover the Cowboys offense, Cowboys, that's how they're going to win, just by executing on offense, right, letting their talent and strength on paper prevail, right, and also defensively, Cowboys defensively, Rams offensively. If the Rams cannot get the running game going, right, or if they can't protect Goff against the Cowboys' really good defensive line right now, well, then that will heavily favor the Cowboys, of course. So, but the Rams, on the other hand, they could get the job done and win if the Cowboys just simply don't execute. If miscommunications on offense and defense happen because of the shortened off season, right, then that will favor the Rams, of course. If the Rams can manage to stop Ezekiel Elliott, right, and get after Dak, because like I said, if the Cowboys weaknesses on the offensive line prove to be too much, and the Rams could go after Dak Prescott, they could stop Ezekiel Elliott. That will favor them. And then, of course, if Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Josh Reynolds get open, and of course Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett get open against Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs, and Chido Awuzie, and Xavier Woods, and Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, and all that in coverage. So that will favor the Rams. But what do I think will actually happen? Let's get into my predictions to close this out. So I believe overall that the lack of LA Rams film prep to be able to scout the Cowboys' new offense and new defense will prove to be more of a factor than the fact that the Cowboys' new offense and new defense had a shortened off season. I truly believe that will prevail, and that will strongly favor the Cowboys, right? In terms of stats, Cowboys stats, let's get into some fun here. I think CeeDee Lamb will not pass 100 yards, but he will have his first career touchdown on Sunday night. I believe Dak will pass for 3 touchdowns, 1 to CeeDee, 1 to Gallup, 1 to Jarwin, because I believe that Jalen Ramsey will probably lock down Amari Cooper. And if anything, it stays the same as this year compared to last year. Amari Cooper, not as good on the road compared to home, but this game will take place in a dome and it will take place without fans, right? So that means I believe that, again, the Jalen Ramsey Amari Cooper will still play better this year or now in this game than he did on the road last year. But I still believe that, it'll be a nice balanced attack by the Cowboys offense. I believe Ezekiel Elliott adds 1 touchdown rushing. I also believe that Dak will throw a pick. Because that's, has to do with the shortened off season with a new coaching staff. Could be maybe one miscommunication, but I do believe that this new Cowboys defensive philosophy of, forcing turnovers, mixing it up in terms of looks and different packages and pass rush sets, I believe that will force Jared Goff and the LA Rams into 2 interceptions. Let's give 1 to Leighton Vander Esch, 1 to Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs gets his first interception. And final score, I believe the Dallas Cowboys will win 34-24 on Sunday Night Football. So that has been my Cowboys versus Rams preview. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then like I said before, subscribe to my channel, like this video. And this has been a Langer at the Mic Live Friday night edition, Friday Night Cowboys edition. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.